So today we're working through the Highfields Functional Skills Maths Level 1 paper. This is the calculator paper. So you are allowed a calculator throughout. The questions are, there's 14 questions with 45 marks as total. It's expected to take you around an hour and 50 minutes. Really anything from around an hour up, I would say, would be an acceptable time for this. Make sure that you read all the questions thoroughly. With the 14 questions, obviously there are some that are just worth 1, but there are some that are worth up to 6 marks. So as you get marks for showing you're working out, it's always worth trying to do as much of that question as you can. Even if you get the end answer wrong, if you get the stages right throughout, you'll still get marks. So let's look at question 1. So question 1, k equals 4y times x. Calculate the value of k when y is 17.4 and x is 12. So 4y, so that's going to be 4 times 17.4 over 12. So when there's a 4 next to a number like that and there's no signs in between, you know, automatically know it's multiplied. So let's do 4 times 17.4, 69.6. So 69.6 divided by 12 is 5.8. So k is 5.8. Nice and easy to get us started. Number 2, work out 783.48 divided by 100. You can do that with a calculator, as you've got a calculator to hand. Equally, you can just move the decimal point 2 points to the left. So your number is 783. Now it says to 3 decimal places, so we round that up, 7835. If you want to do it on the calculator, put the number in, divide by 100, 7.8348. So it's exactly the same number. You just round it up then, as it asks you to. So the answer is 7.835. So just because the calculator's there, you don't necessarily have to use it. Number 3, you're using a map with the following information displayed. On the map, your home is 7 inches away from your workplace. What's the actual distance between your home and your workplace? So we want to find out what 7 inches is equal to. So 2 inches is 10 miles. So 1 is going to be 5, and 7 is going to be 5 times 7. If you want to use a calculator to work out, feel free, but 5 times 7 is 35. So your answer is 35 miles. Number 4, draw a line of symmetry on this isosceles triangle. A line of symmetry is a line that's drawn down the centre of something to make each side exactly the same. So if you folded it in half, it would look exactly the same. So the line of symmetry on this would be right down the middle. Obviously it's not hugely neat because I'm just doing it freehand, but that's where your line of symmetry would be, right down the middle of that. Number 5, calculate 7/12 of 1080 kilometres. So when you're given a fraction of something, the first thing you need to work out is what a 12th is. So to do that, we divide 1080 by 12. Which is 90. Now we want to work out 7/12 of that. So we need to work out 7 times 90. Which is 630. 630 kilometres. Number 6. Calculate 7.26 divided by 24.2. A simple calculation done on the calculator. So 7.26 divided by 24.2 is 0.3. So 7.26 divided by 24.2 is 0.3. Number 7. There are 600,000 people living in Coventry and Wolverhampton combined. The populations are split in the ratio of 7 to 5. So we've got 600,000, a ratio of 7 to 5. How many people live in Wolverhampton? So the 7 is Coventry and the 5 is Wolverhampton. Now with any ratio, to get this 7 or this 5, this proportion, you've got to add both of those numbers up. So both of those numbers added up comes to 12. So what we now need to do is divide 600,000 by 12. Which is 50,000. Okay, so to get the 7 for Coventry, you'd multiply 7 by that, but we want to find out this one, this 5 of that ratio here. So 5 times 50,000, if you need the calculator, feel free, is 250,000. Now if you wanted to work out the 7 as well, just so you know you've got the calculation right, you could do 7 times 50,000. Which is 350,000. You add up 350 and 250, that makes the 600. So you know you've got the number right. So what we want is how many people in Wolverhampton, so it's this number here. So the answer is 250,000. Okay. Question 8. You work at Highfield Castle. As part of your job, you walk around the perimeter of the castle to perform security checks. Below is a diagram of the castle. The main section and each of the turrets are squares. So obviously it's telling you that so you know that each side is the same size. How far do you walk on each security check? So as we know, the perimeter is the outside. So we've got to make sure we know all of these measurements all the way round here. Okay, so we've got the 6 there and we've got 12 there. So we know that that's 12 as well because that's the same as that. And we know that that's 6 because that's the same as that. So we know that's 6, that's 12, that's 12, and that's 6. And that's 6, that's 12, that's 12, and that's 6. So the turrets we've got. Now we need to work out the main section. So let's, instead of, obviously as all these are metres, let's change that to metres. So it's 124 metres. So we know then that's turret to turret. This one is also turret to turret, so we know that's also 124. So what we need then are these two. So this has got 2 turrets. This has only got 1. So what we've got to do is add on that extra bit there where the turret would have been, which is 6. So this is 130 and that's 130. And now all we've got to do is add them all up. So let's break it down. So we've got 2 times 130 and we've got 2 times 124. If you want a calculator to work out these, feel free. If not, you can just do them in your head. Then we work out, so we've got a 12 and a 12, 12 and a 12, 12 and a 12. So we've got 6 times 12. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sixes as well. And then we've just got to add all of those up. So 260 plus 248. Plus 72 plus 36. 616. So the answer is 616 metres. So again, it's just looking at this stage by stage and making sure that you follow the path round, and you can almost do that again with your pen, making sure that you've actually got them all there. Question 9. You're moving some swords into a new display. Below are the weights of the swords in kilograms. What's the mean and the range of the weights of the swords? So the mean, you add up all numbers and divide by the number of numbers. The range is difference between largest and smallest. Okay, so the range is the difference between largest and smallest, and the mean is the traditional way of doing the average. So what I've done is made a note on my piece of paper to add all these up on the calculator. So the first thing I need to do is add all of these 12 numbers up. So we've got 1.3, 2.1, 1.7, 2.4, 0.9, 1.3, 1.9, 1.1, 1.3, 2.1 and 2.2, which is 19.8. And then we divide that by 12 to get 1.65. So 19.8 divided by 12 is 1.65. So that's adding up all the numbers and dividing by the amount of numbers there are. So the mean is 1.65. Doesn't ask us to round that up. It just says write the answer in the box. So the range then is the difference between the highest and lowest. So the highest is 2.4 and the lowest is 0.9. So 2.4 minus 0.9 equals 2.4 minus 0.9 is 1.5. So the range is 1.5. So averages are always worth something. It's something worth revising before you come in, because quite often there'll be a question on either median, mode, range or mean. Question 10 carries on from this slightly. You pick up one of the swords at random. What's the probability that you pick up a sword that weighs more than 2 kilograms? So we know we've got 12 and we want to see how many are more than 2 kilograms. So we've got a 2.2, 2.4, 2.1, 2.1, that's it. So there's 4 out of 12 that are more than 2 kilograms. Now it does say give it in its simplest form as a fraction. So what we need to do is make sure we get this into its simplest form. So you could divide by 2 and then you could then divide by 2 again. So that's going to be 1 over 3. Whichever way, how confident you are with fractions. It's just making that the smallest number you can possibly make it. So your answer is 1 over 3. Question 11. The table below shows the number of visitors to Highfield Castle last week. Monday 165, Tuesday 195, Wednesday 135, Thursday 150. On Friday there were 20% more visitors than there were on Thursday. So we need to know 150 plus 20%. So you're working out and then draw a chart on the graph paper to show the number of visitors during each day. Okay, so we first need to work out this number here. On the calculator, 150 plus 20% is 180. So 180 in there. So really easy to do on a calculator. So 180 is that number. And then what you'd need to do is draw a graph, a suitable graph. So you could draw a bar chart. You could draw, it has got graph paper here. I'm just going to draw a very basic freehand one, but just to give you an idea of the sort of thing it would be after. So you'd be looking at the 2 axes. You'd be looking at labelling. So the top number is 195. So you could do 50, 100, 150, 200. You would need to make sure this is all to scale, but just to give you an idea. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So days, and then visitors. You need a title, so you could say visitors to Highfield Castle. So you'd have a title, as I say, these lines would be straight, you'd have a ruler to be able to do this properly, but it just gives you an idea. So Monday is 165, so you know that's just above there, so you'd do a block off to about there. Tuesday is 195, so that'd be almost 200, so you do a block to there. So all of this would be neat, but this just gives you an idea of what kind of thing you'd need to put into the chart. So make sure you've got the axes, make sure you've got the data, make sure you've got labels on the axis and a title as well, and then that the numbers are accurate on there, and that way you'd get your full 6 marks. Okay. Number 12, you're working for Highfield Roofing. Your manager has asked you to calculate the price of a job. The customer has a £1,000 budget. Now the key for a question like this, I understand that questions when there's a lot of information can worry people quite a lot when they first see them. The key is to break it down as you're going. So the project will need material costs, £426.93. Okay, so let's put that number over here, £426.93. One roofer, roofer, and one apprentice for 3 days. Okay, so the roofer is paid £84.50 a day, so that's nice and easy. We just do 3 times 84.5. It's £253.50. So we put that number over here, 253. Okay. Apprentice is paid £4.75 an hour. So let's work out how many hours, 8:30 to 5:30. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 hours. So then that's 3 days. So we do 3 times 9. So we'd need to do 27 times the hourly rate of 4.75. 128.25. So we've got the materials, we've got the roofer, and we've got the apprentice, and that's how much all 3 of those are going to cost. The next bit, it says add 20% to the total cost of the job for VAT. So let's work out the total cost based on this information. So we've got the 1.828.25, we'll add 253.5. And then we'll add 426.93. That's 808.68. Okay, then we need to add 20%. So back to the calculator with that number, add 20% equals 970. We'll round that up, so it's 42. So 970.42. So we've broken it down to each part. We've shown all the calculations for each part that we're doing. So we've proved how we're working it out. So can the project be completed within the budget is the question. The bit in bold is always the question. So you'd say yes, £970. Let's just move that up slightly. 42. And that's your answer for that. So break it down, make sure you cover each of the areas, even tick them off as you're going or mark them off as you're going, so you know you've covered that bit. And make sure at the end that you actually answer the question. So the question is yes, it can be completed within budget. And that's the budget. Sorry, that's the cost. Okay? Question 13. You use a lot of water while working. You're buying some new containers to hold the water that you use. The containers are cuboid. They have a base of 32 by 21 by 0.5. You need enough containers to hold at least 100,000 centimetre cubes of water. Each container costs $6.99. How much will it cost to buy the containers that you need? So we need to work out how many containers we need. So again, I understand that this is the kind of question people look at and go, oh, I've just got no idea what that means. So let's break it down. So to work out the volume, because it is a cubed measurement, we need 3 measurements to work that out. So we've got 32 times 21. Now let's change that because these are in centimetres. Let's make this 0.5 centimetre into centimetres as well. So that's going to be 50. So we work out that 32 times 21 times 50. $33,600. That's how much each one of those will hold. So what we want to do is find out how many will hold 100,000. So let's do 100,000 divided by the 33,600. Is 100,000 divided by 33,600. That's better. So that's 2.98. We'll round that up. Okay, so round that up again to a full number because we can't have part of a container. So we need 3 containers. So then we need to work out the cost. $6.99 times 3 is £20.97. So the cost is £20.97 because you need to buy 3 containers. So we've worked out the volume of that one. We've worked out how many will go into that 100,000. So we know we need 3 containers and we know the cost of the containers. So it's all about breaking it down into stages. Question 14. You're hired for another job to build the roof of a new football stadium. They give you this plan of the stadium. Okay. The pitch dimensions are 105 by 70. So we know that's 105 by 70. The roof will be made up of panels of 50 centimetres times 50 centimetres. So panels of 50 centimetres times 50 centimetres. We'll work that out shortly. How many panels for the entire roof? So the roof area is just this section here. So what we need to do is work out the outer measurement and take away this inner measurement. So we do 190 times 175. And then we'll take away from that the 105 times 70. So that's the outer measurement, take away the inner measurement. So let's work out the top one, 190 by 175. It's 33,250. Now let's look at the bottom one, 105 times 70. $7,350. So then we take that away from there and we're left with the volume of the area that we need to fill with the panels. So 33,250 minus 7,350, 25,900. Okay. So next we need to work out the size of the panels to go onto that area of roof. So 50 times 50, you want to work that out on here. Centimetre squared. This measurement is metre cubed. Now to get metre cubed to centimetre squared, we need to times by 100, but also times by 100 again. to get cubed to squared, and then squared to metre squared to centimetre squared. So we're effectively timesing by 10,000. So 25900 times 10,000, or we can do 25,900 times 100 times 100. So we're effectively left with 6 zeros. 2, 5, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how many centimetres squared 259,000 metre cubes is. Sorry, 25,900 metre cubed. So that's centimetre squared. So now we've got the same measurement of that as we have from that. So we can see how many of those go into those. It's the easiest way of finding out, is to make sure the measurements are the same. So all we do now is divide that big number by 2,500. Divide that, 2,500 is 103,600, and that is your answer. So that's how many panels you need, 103,600. So again, even if you got that end result right, even if you'd worked out the outer measurement, the inner measurement, took those away to get that, and even worked out the size of the panels, you'd get 3 or 4 marks for that, even if you couldn't quite get to that end mark. So it's making sure you do as much as you can in each of the questions to know that you'll still get some marks. And that's it, that's the end of that paper.